Hello, Dr. Carl Calleman.
Hello, Lilou.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
Excellent. I'm in France. You're in Seattle. Again, technology helps us to communicate the important messages. You are an expert in the Mayan calendar. Since 1979, you've been traveling there and had an interest, and you communicate very often about the Mayan calendar, speak around the world. You wrote many books. And today I was particularly interested to speak with you about the Venus transit, because we're in the final phase of the Mayan calendar. Is that correct? This is kind of an important date on the 6th of June and something to look at for us.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think at this point I wouldn't talk about a final phase of the Mayan calendar. Soon I'd like to clarify a couple of things of my view before I go into this important event on the Venus transit. The way I look upon it is that the 13 Baktuns, which is the time period of 5,125 years, that is the main skeleton of the Mayan calendar system. It came to an end already last year, October 28, 2011. And that was sort of a tipping point of where, for the first time, actually, 9 different levels of consciousness were manifesting. And now we're after that point. And the way I look upon it is that there is no other date coming where everything will just change, where, everything will turn rosy or anything like that. From this point and onwards, the same waves that have been operating previously will continue to wave, according to a certain pattern that will develop the future. And but there will never be any such date. So any date that we have today, like the Venus transit, to me at least, is something more to look upon as an opportunity. It's not something that automatically will happen, but these dates, and the same goes for this December 21 date, 2012. I don't think anything will happen automatically on that date. But both of those dates are possibilities for us.
Isn't it quite a little bit different than what you were saying before?
It is a little bit different. And also, it's...
How come?
How come? Well, because, up until that date, October 28, 2011, we were still in these different waves of 13, which is the traditional Mayan calendar number. It basically describes the wave movement of the plumed serpent, 7 days and 6 nights. And now we're after that. We have passed that. Those energies have manifested, and we're meaning that we have an imprint from those energies, and and if you recall this time period last year of the 9th wave, basically March 9 to October 28, 2011. This was a tremendously period. It was a period of tremendous turmoil, but it was probably also the largest movement for change that the world has ever seen. I'm thinking about the Arab Spring and the Occupy movement. It was sort of a very deep movement to create a new order, you might say, or to, you might say, a protest against the established order. But then after October 28, and that's what I was not able to predict very well. I had thought more or less that these energies will sort of be in full activation. But that didn't happen. Instead, I would say things slow down after October 28. And now the general direction of change is still there.
How do we
Same as,
know that it's fully activated? How will you know, according to your
well,
measurements?
well, I know it because of the way I saw people reacting in the world last year. Because of this sort of strong movement desiring for a change, or desiring for a world based on principles of unity, and desiring for a world based more on feminine energies.
So for you, that's already then achieved and done, and we're already
no,
in that, or we're not. That I wanted just to know more when
yeah,
you will know, and why do you know we have made that change or not, so that we're all clear and on the same page.
yeah, right. We have not manifested these change fully, but we got the cosmic imprint, if you like, in
Okay.
that time period.
Okay.
And this will not manifest at any particular date. It will be going on for, the next 20 years. And the general direction of change was established in that time period. But there's no, as far as I can see, there will be no time when everything just changed. And the way I look upon it, what people refer to as the end of the Mayan calendar, the end of the 13 Baktuns of the long count, that has already happened. And that is a new situation. And the consequence that I think it has is that any event, like, for instance, the Venus transit, which is now coming up, should be regarded more as an opportunity, as a possibility. And there's, in my view, no reason to attach any hope, you might say, that anything will come out automatically of it, so to speak.
Before we get more into the Venus transit, because to me it feels very symbolic,
Yes.
and all of us can ignite whatever we want
Yes.
at any given time, and I think this is what really this is all about. But
Yeah.
you have mentioned, I have interviewed John Valo Melchizedek, and for him too, the cycle is not really, doesn't really end. I mean, how did you feel when you
Yeah.
saw that, and how do you
Well,
agree
yeah,
with him or not?
I saw that. Well, he talks about, as many other people do, he talks about the galactic alignment, and he talks about the precessional cycle of 26,000 years. And of course, people can believe in that. But the point is that it's absolutely not Mayan. There's not a single Mayan inscription that talks about a 26,000-year cycle. Not one. And I'm talking about the Mayan calendar, I'm basing it on thousands of inscriptions. But there is not one inscription talking about the 26,000-year precessional cycle, which is an idea that's coming from European astrology, basically.
Will there be some
And it's just
information?
one more
Yeah.
thing too there. It's this idea of a galactic alignment. Well, there's not one Mayan inscription about that, not one. And so when people are associating these ideas, which really comes from using modern computer softwares and seeing stars and stuff like that, it is not the ancient Mayan calendar system they're talking about. It's more like what they like, what kind of, the modern worldview applied or imposed on the ancient Maya. And that is not how I work. I work very much with studying the ancient Mayan inscription, and it's from that the whole understanding of 9 levels of evolution has been generated.
So there is not just a thing as the galactic, the Milky Way, and the Sun and the Earth being aligned on that day, in December, on the 21st of December, according to the Mayans.
Well, there's not any such inscription, I can tell you that for sure. And what I also can say is that this is not anything that's specific for this particular year. I heard an astronomer talking about it and said it happens every year. And it doesn't really happen every year. It happens every year for 72 years. So it's something that's been happening sometime from the 1960s, or I don't know exactly. But it's not linked to this particular end date.
How do you feel about all the information then that is being out, that's been communicating through John Vallow, through yourself as well, through other teachers, and just thousands of videos going out about this topic as we're in 2012? How do you feel about all that? Because I sense that part of you is a little bit frustrated with the situation right now and the lies or the untruth. I mean, you guys are the experts.
Well, you know, when it comes to my own work, I don't really see a problem with it because it has been useful. It can be demonstrated that it was useful for making predictions in the past. And nobody is able to take that away. And so it's based on a very sound fundament, and that fundament is reported in my books. So I don't have any problem with it. If you know, it's always true that with these kind of things there is information out there that is not really based on anything, and there's not really a problem with it. Except if people draw the conclusion that something will just automatically change. I don't have to do anything because there is a galactic alignment, because that's just a hoax. No, if it has the other meaning that people say, okay, this is a date when everybody will be focusing on the sun or on Venus. What can we do? Can we use that date? Is this an opportunity for us to bring about a shift in consciousness? Well, then I'm all for it if it's a good shift in consciousness. But I do worry about some of these. When people do not have a foundation in the ancient Mayan inscriptions, they go anywhere. And that's why we've had all this stupid discussion of whether the world will come to an end or not, which is just another thing that's completely outside of the Mayan inscriptions. But if you are sort of focusing on these kind of dates without having the background in how the energies have been shifting, then you open these kind of discussions to all kinds of speculations. For instance, that kind of a thing.
But John Vallow was mentioning that we were in a masculine cycle, and now the Mayans will be celebrating after the 21st of December the sacred feminine coming in.
Well, I don't know what Mayas there are. You know, the Maya is a big people. We're talking about several million people living in that region. And, you know, if you ask one of their spokesmen, like Don Alejandro, he doesn't want to pinpoint any kind of date like this. Some of them would, others wouldn't. I would not say anything that the Maya are doing. And, you know, it's like saying, oh, this is, you know, it's like saying that take 14th of July and say that the French will be doing something or after that date. You know, it's or you know, you can't speak for a people like that. Do you agree?
Yes,
do you understand
though we're
saying?
getting closer to a revolution here, but that's another topic.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yes, but at the same time, there seems to be some information from the Mayans that are coming out, and some spoken words, and some information also that could be revealed too at later dates. Does the scriptures also talk about that, or you're fully only focusing on those 9 levels of waves that are truly coming in?
Well, I'm not sure. I just, was it a week ago? I listened to a very very good webcast. It was, I think, 10 people, Mayan elders, that was telecast in the US. And, you know, I think most of them did not look upon this as a particular change or so. So it's, you know, you'll have to, you shouldn't, I say, you shouldn't talk about the Maya in terms of the contemporary people of the Maya and say they are coming out. Because you're talking about a bunch of different people, and maybe somebody said something and maybe that's worth listening to. I cannot tell that. Then I would have to know who was that and what's it based on and so forth.
So what do you feel certain about in this present moment? What do you feel certain about that you know in your heart and you see it coming and that you would like to discuss right now or share?
Well, what I see right now is the upcoming Venus transit, and which is then taking place on June 5th and June 6th. And I think this is an important opportunity for us to refocus not only on creating a world of unity consciousness, but also on the what would you say, the retrieval of feminine energies in the world. And overall, what I also know in my heart, as you're saying, is that the direction has been set as of last year, of October 28, 2011. So in these 20 years ahead, or actually my next book will be talking about the next billion years of history. But in this time period ahead, the direction has been set, and towards a change in our civilization, based more on unity, based more on the Eastern and more on the feminine energies. But there is not one time when this will all happen and change. These are things that I know.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Carl, for this time. Thank you for this conversation. If there is anything you would like to add.
Well, we didn't talk about the Venus transit.
That's what I would love. I thought that's all what you wanted to say about it. But is there something else that you would love to speak about? Regarding the Venus transit. I thought that's all the information that you wanted to give.
No, okay. So the Venus transit then is a very unusual event. In 2004, there was a Venus transit on 8th of June. And we had a big global event at that point, called the Oneness Celebration. And it was sort of the beginning or the starting point of a series of different global events that would continue in the years ahead, all sort of with the idea of helping a shift in consciousness towards unity and towards holistic ways of thinking. And what happens, and I was fortunate then to see this particular Venus transit, is that the planet Venus crosses the disk of the sun. And it's really a very, you know, there was this old astronomer, the discovery of Halley's Comet, who said that this is the most beautiful event that astronomy can give us, because it gives you seeing a planet like that cross the disk of the sun gives you a very, very special feeling of being part of the cosmos. and realizing that you are part of a greater thing. So this time there will be another Venus transit, and it will be on June 5th and 6th. And not the whole world will see it. The Pacific Ocean will see it perfectly, and I think most of the United States will do so. In Europe, it will only be in the evening of the June 5th, and I think in Asia it will be I can't remember exactly. These things are, there is a website called transitofvenus.com. Mm-hmm. And that's where you have to go if you want to see the timings. It takes about 7 hours for Venus to cross the sun. And there's also one event, a website that I like to refer people to, which is called worldgathering2012.com. And this has an opportunity for everyone who's making gatherings at this particular event to join in there and announce what you're planning to and so forth. And I will be in Sweden at the time. I will be doing meditation, global meditation, and I'll be at an event organized with a friend, and we will try to do something globally around it. So the Venus transit, I think, is one of these opportunities that people have in the time ahead. In a time for expressing love, a time for welcoming the influx of feminine energies, a time for connecting to the world of unity that already exists, and recommit to the creation of a world based on that. So that's what I look upon as the central possibility of the Venus transit, and I hope many people will participate in it. And there is the website worldgathering2012.com for people to find out more about the spiritual events that happen there. And then there is another website called transitofvenus.com that gives you the information about the times, about the actual astronomical event. And so it's an event, and I just want to say I remember when I saw this transit 8 years ago, that is quite a very special experience to see a planet actually in front of the sun like I did then. And that is a very strong reminder that we are part of a big context, and it should be an inspiration for the continued work that is now going on indefinitely from this point and onward. And it's all up to us at this point. There will come certain waves and energies that will support the kind of change that many people are desiring. But especially at this point, we should not take any change for granted or to expect that it happens automatically. It can only happen through us. We are the ones we've been waiting for, as the Hopi saying goes. And so I encourage everyone to be part of this Venus transit gatherings and celebrations and in order to recommit to what is the cosmic plan and its fulfillment in the long term.
Thank you, Carl.